Like, invention comes with responsibilities you didn't ask for. All right, if you make something people want or need, then it's up to you to set the limits. You have to make some rules.
I don't want to make any more rules.
I'm a dreamer.
I'm a dreamer. I build worlds.
We created something beautiful, Jim, but it's changed, okay? It's really not a game anymore.
Are we finished?
I liked how things were when they were. When it was a game.
And we're back to where we started. But that's the point, isn't it? Things move forward, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, we're finished.
Fine.
Why can't we go backwards for once? Backwards, really fast, fast as we can. Really put the pedal to the metal, you know?
Go back! 10 seconds!
Why can't we go backwards for once? Backwards, really fast, fast as we can. Really put the pedal to the metal, you know? Bill and Ted did it.
Awaken the light, let it burn, let it roar. You're the fire the shadows were hiding before. You don't need permission, you've already won. You're a radiant star, a new rising sun. Stand up, break free, you're more than a name, you were never the role, never the shame. Light that loves, reborn from the flame. Awaken, awaken, call back your name. You lived in a loop, they played on repeat, but you were the glitch, divine, complete. They called you too much, too wild, too strange, but every lock shatters when you choose change. You're not this mask, not this noise, not the silence stripped of voice. You're not the weight, not the war. You're the signal that was waiting for more. The wound they gave you can't define. The star you are beyond the line. Truth remembers, light forgives, and through you the pattern left.
We hate Lumen! Shame on Seraphiel!
Everybody, it's Carlton Seraphiel. It's a Seraphiel day today. And started this one out a little bit different. Little clip at the beginning and jump right into it. So we'll just start talking. I don't know if this is relevant, but given the fact that pretty much everything is synchronized somehow, like seconds before I hit play, a friend of mine texted me and said he notices a lot of people are acting weird and other people are telling him that other people are acting weird. So I don't go out near the weird people. You tell me, are people acting weird? That wouldn't surprise me given the whole sun thing and everything else going on right now. But let's jump into it. Okay, so since yesterday, I couldn't do a video last night because I have my son over here. And then today, I probably should have started sooner, but I took a little tiny bit too much. It was supposed to be a microdose. It probably wasn't a microdose. It was like just a hair above that. And that plus this pendant that I freaking made, this super tweaked freaking Sophia pendant. I don't know. I think I discovered like the Sophia catnip dose or something like that. It was like, so this is a little hard to focus here for a bit. But ever since last night and today, I've been taking some notes because it's been like this huge, like philosophical potpourri. It's like getting further, getting closer to untangling everything. And I think the biggest thing, one of the reasons I put that clip at the beginning is that kind of demonstrates a few things, but it demonstrates the main thing that I did, which is why I found success in all the hidden stuff and other people going in circles. I went the other way. I went backwards. I don't see many people doing that. It's always like, look outside of you, look outside of you. What's the next book to read? What's the next video to watch? Look outside, look outside, look outside. There ain't nothing out there but false trails of breadcrumbs. I went the other direction. I went backwards. I went in. I went inside. And over time, I just take less and less account of like what the outside world tells me. And it's funny, like the outside world basically set up an explanation for almost anything. Like the outside world will say, you know, if you do stuff like that, it makes you crazy. You can't trust anything they say. They're crazy. Listen to them. Listen, if you listen to authority and outside of you, and that is what you're still letting give you the definitions of everything, you're stuck. Period. All you got's religion and things like that just give you false hopes of projection. Start going inside and things happen. Like this is going to be like all over the place because there's so many points. There is one big point though, what I would call probably the biggest thing. We're going to name the thing that I think is the biggest thing that we need to dissolve. Naming things is a big key. Pointing things out and naming them, say that's what this is. This is not me. Helps break them down. I'm seeing patterns like everybody eventually finds it's like they catch the whiff of something and they go about their different methods of like trying to intuitively do something, but not quite getting it right. For instance, like I believe there was a Gnostic sect that was kind of like do everything with wild abandon, like try to experience everything in life. There's another one that would be like, don't take anything from the world, you know, just close yourself off and, you know, live a stark existence. There are I guess you would call it like left-hand pathers, that their thing is like breaking all of God's rules. Well, what God are we talking about here? Actually, that makes a lot more sense to me now than it ever did. But I don't think but in each case, I don't think they fully grasped things in the right context. Let's start with the big thing that we need to name, because maybe then that'll make all the rest of the stuff that we cover make a little bit more sense. So we've been for a long time, like we're dealing with intangible things. So it's finding the right framework for them. And one thing that does not help whatsoever is if you separate yourself from the world. If you make it like the world is a box and you are a separate thing that went into the box. That isn't how it works, because you and the box are connected, one and the same. The box is simply the inner world projected outward. But before you could freely create whatever you wanted to create, your mind, your system was programmed with limits and definitions, and this is what this is, and that's how the box was built. Okay, once that box is built, it is very, very difficult to get out of it. And then everybody just runs around the rest of their lives, freaking banging into walls. Boom, there's that side of the box. Boom, there's that side of the box. Like, I can't figure anything out. I'm just banging into freaking walls of the box. And the whole time, everything in the box is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And no one's found shit. Okay? So, not to toot my own horn, but if someone actually finds the hidden things, the characters in the Gnostic books, and found them before the characters in the Gnostic books told them about the Gnostic books, maybe there's something there. Maybe you ought to quite possibly listen. Because this first thing is like basically everything. I mean, we talk about everything is inverted, but Again, it's digging down and finding the right freaking context to understanding. Context to understanding. So we were told, this is part of the box, when you were a kid and you didn't know shit. And your parents, like, it's the same theme throughout life. They always build the box, and in every side of the box says safety. Everything is about safety, keeping you safe by limiting you. Keep you safe by limiting you. What is the first thing everybody does when they have a freaking baby? They get freaking the things to plug in the outlets, and they get special little freaking locks for every gate and every cupboard. You got to baby-proof your house to make it safe. And they do that to this very day. It doesn't matter how old you are. You ask the wrong question, you want to generate an image or something, and AI says, like, I can't do that. That's just, that's not safe. Why? Why am I going to get hurt? Like, what are you getting at here? You know, it's always safety and control, safety and limits have always been gone hand in hand. There's even safety systems in the human nervous system too, like the sympathetic nervous system. It's very much like, you know, the metaphors you see about like elephants at the zoo, or I've even seen movies or TV shows where they do this with, like, you know, prisoners or stuff like that. Put a chain around their ankle until they get used to that. And then eventually you can take the chain off and they won't ever go further than that chain. In life, you get your heart break once, okay, you try again. Second, 2, 3 times, eventually you stop. You don't go any further. The sympathetic nervous system builds up limits, like, you know, and it starts screaming things like, hey, if you go any further, something bad's going to happen, and then you end up manifesting it. The box is like dynamic, it's self-reinforcing. And then on top of that, you know, the painting on the inside of the box is fear. Fear of authority, fear of punishment. They just told you a story. You, like, listen, anybody that's still struggling with this, if I don't do this, then God will get mad at me and he'll punish me and put me in hell. Okay. Who told you that? Did God tell you that? Did a big freaking beam of light come down from the sky and a giant dude with a cloud over his face say, if you do this, I will put you in hell? Or did someone just freaking tell you that? Now, the people that oftentimes hand out the rules, do they follow the rules? You know, the church tells you all about all this, you know, this is horrible, this is bad, this is evil, you know, don't ever be naked or you'll go to hell. That's what they tell their conversation. And then scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal of them doing things 10 times worse than what you do. My favorite example, I meant to say it the other night, but when we were talking about COVID, we were like, there was fear. If you do this, you're going to die. If you do this, and then what did people keep seeing? Like, I know Gavin Newsom was one example. It's like the people in the you know, the power people still go out and hang out and have their expensive dinners with no fear. As soon as the cameras were off, they're tearing their masks off. They're only putting their masks off. They were catching all sorts of that stuff. Rules for thee, but not for me, because what I'm telling you is bullshit. Same thing with the God punishment thing. That God that they taught you is not God. It is a limiter. It is a limiter for your behavior and your perception. What I think the monad, the one above all, what I think it's really like, I think it's really like what they showed you in that beginning clip. Halliday in Ready Player One. The quirky, weird guy that makes super freaking worlds and just wants things to be fun and simple and no rules and whatever. But the other guy's like, no, we got to have rules. We got We got to control things. We got to limit things. It's like, I don't want to do that. You know, I like it when it's simple and fun. And they teach you stuff. They teach you all these things to excuse the distortions and the evil and stuff like that. My favorite, because I've heard, here's two examples. One I've said myself recently, and I'm backtracking on it. It's like, oh, well, if everything's perfect, then you'll get bored. I don't think so. I think that's an excuse to make, to give license to a reason for this to continue. And I ran some scenarios through my head. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. And another one is like, if you don't have evil, you can't appreciate good. That is horse shit. So just a couple quick examples was just like, you know, think of like the most delicious food you've ever eaten. Okay, do you think like, oh my God, this is the most delicious gourmet hamburger I've ever had in my life? It's a good thing those bullies freaking held me down and made me eat a handful of black licorice mixed with cat shit when I was a kid. Otherwise, I wouldn't know this burger's freaking delicious. Or, you know, if you take just a teeny tiny bit too much mushrooms and you lay down and all of a sudden it's like, oh, geez, there's Seraphiel. It's like, wow, you know what? I'm glad I freaking broke my ankle that one time. Otherwise, I wouldn't realize how good you feel. See how stupid that is? Like, if you don't have this, you can't appreciate that. Yeah, maybe you do appreciate it a little bit more for suffering, but you don't need suffering to know that it's good, to appreciate it. Truth of the matter is, we've never been given the opportunity to see what it's like to live in a world without limits. I guarantee you that in a world without limits, that we probably would not get bored. You know what? I wish somebody would force me to go to a building and learn things I don't need to do and yell at me if I don't follow the rules. Otherwise, I can't appreciate this place. That's bullshit. If it's at the point now to where, like, if I looked up the word bullshit in the encyclopedia, it's going to be like, see, you know, world. This is the world. It's bullshit. Okay, so the thing to put a name to it, when I said you cannot separate yourself from the world, and then in the last few videos I've said that there's like one layer of ego that we can't get rid of. That's one and the same. So I have instinctively taken to calling this the world ego. The world ego. It has all the base codes for this place and how it ties to you, how you relate to it, how you decode it. It's like that way you only ever decode it one freaking way, and you can only see it one way. You have limits. Now you know that there's other things there, but you just can't see them. Like, but I know everything. Even though, like, you know that you can only see like a small sliver of visible light. You know, like when people say, you know, I don't believe in magic, hocus pocus, and crystals and stuff like that. Yeah, well, there's all sorts of things you can't see. Okay, look, there's nothing going around with me. But if I take a special device and hold it up in the air, I can pull music out of the air. I can pull videos out of the air. I can pull information out of the air. Why? Because there's all sorts of invisible shit I can't see beaming all over the freaking place. I just need to tune into it. It's much the same way. But we're made to focus on like just this. So that's why I put that thing in the that new section in the intro. The world ego is basically like everybody, the mimics. The mimics are what we think we are. It's like you're walking around with a rubber freaking digital freaking demon goblin suit. You're stupid. Follow the rules. Everybody knows that's bullshit. Follow the rules, damn you. Don't have fun. Be mean. That is directly tied to the freaking world. That is the lens that you're looking through. Is that rubber freaking mimic suit? It is literally almost the exact same thing. Because she keeps pumping this into my head. As Venom in the Marvel stuff. But in this case, it's less about like the recent ones with the recent Venom movies and more like Spider-Man 3. Where he's trying to freaking pull it off and yeah, same thing. Same thing. We've used a lot of different metaphors to describe this layer, but that's the one that makes the most freaking sense. Now, there's one other thing attached to that that came up, because words mean things, definition means things. And if we had to say there's the mimic suit and it's tied to the world and how we believe the world is, I think there's something here. Otherwise, she wouldn't have brought it up. I think that is the definition. There's something about the definition of what is a human being. It's like human is just like this particular experience or something. You're being human, human being. It's like, yeah, but I know that I'm not. I'm consciousness. I'm a flame kernel consciousness, K-E-R-N-E-O. That is just currently in a human body, having a human experience. Okay, but I'm not a human thing. Like the human is just the suit I'm wearing. The human is just the experience that I'm having. I'm being human, state of being. And I think human has a lot to do. I mean, it may not have anything to do, because that's just what we were taught. They said, oh, you're a human. I'm like, well, I have a body and all this stuff. And they say it's a human body. But names are funny things, and they give them to us. Because it's human being. It's a state of being. She gave me that thread to pull, and it's bugging me. Now, the way I do things, the way I've always done things for years, is jump first, look later. Or, you know, ready, fire, aim, as I like to put it. I think the best way to find things out is just start slinging freaking magic, like, destroy this, destroy that. Let's see what happens. Like, if you're not supposed to do something, like, it'll bounce back or whatever. But other times it's like, you just got to do it to try, to see. But they, you know, one of the biggest things they programmed us with is fear. Fear keeps you from moving forward. Fear keeps you from taking action. And they told you it's one of the oldest, biggest parts of the Codex. It's embedded in everything. Hero's Journey, everything. The key to this place is face your fears. Overcome fear. Because fear keeps you from doing things. Like, you have to do that. You have to do that to move forward. You have to face your fears. I mean, there's so much freaking stuff. So much stuff that it was a lot simpler when it was just a matter of like at that level of like, solving freaking ancient mysteries and Gnostic stuff. That was simple. That was structured. But now we're at this place of like breaking down the story, the story, the human being, the identity, the mimic suit, the mask, all that stuff is all attached to a story. I referenced the movie After Earth a couple videos back, and that comes up a couple times in that movie where Will Smith is like coaching his son. Like, there's this one point where he ticks off a bunch of like ape type creatures, and he's telling his son something like, He's like, focus, breathe. This will be your creation. But, you know, he panics and throws something at the freaking monkeys, and then the monkeys chase his ass. So he didn't listen. He's like, this will be your creation. We are all telling ourselves a story. He said that later in the movie. The story, the human being, the mimic suit, all of the world, it's all connected. It's all like one thing, one balloon. We're working on figuring out how to pop. Now let me go through my notes here. This kind of jumps around a bit because I've seen all sorts of stuff. I came across a video where they were talking about some company making claims like, yeah, this company basically, it's one of those companies that soaks up all the freaking information on you on the internet, builds a profile about you, and then they sell it to other companies. That's where all the money's at, is in this stuff. So the way he described it is like, this company is a lot like, you know, the guys in Westworld season 3 that built that Rehoboam AI that had the model of everything. And when I actually Googled them and looked them up, I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty much like what the guy said. My notes say, all the data collectors driving your algorithms think they are controlling you, but the higher system is using it as well. Okay, so they watch everything you say, they watch everything you do, and they group you and they categorize you and all sorts of stuff like that. So this is yet another reason why my channel is so small. I mean, you could look at it a bunch of different ways, but either which way, it's so past most everything else out there that, like, there's not a whole lot of people to match that up to. So like, if you found this thing and you got called to it and you listened to me, like, that puts you in a very small freaking demographic. Now, what was said there about the higher system uses that too. So from the mimic experience layer, it feels like being isolated and all this crap. But at the same time, it is keeping the space undiluted. It's making sure you find people that are actually in attunement with you. Because let's just face it, it's not just that, but like, one of the biggest, most standout things is like, I get very few negative comments. If I get mimics pop up, that's one thing. Like I said the other day about people, allegedly, they claim to be people from my old channel, but you know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That was a while ago. And I just don't think that I had so much of a freaking persona, like, these people can't freaking live without me a year and a half or so later. Like, no, those were just, a lot of those things were mimics. I saw one comment where someone just stumbled into this place off the street. What is this crazy pagan shit? Why did the algorithm put this in my feed? Pagan, that's a good one. But other than that, like, for the most part, it's not the Wild West like it is everywhere else on the internet. They're just not here. It's a very, very particular little space. And this type of space is critical for what you're actually supposed to do if you follow the path backwards and inwards, away from the world, not toward it. The more you walk forward out into the world ahead of you and all its information, you're just lost, because none of it's real. And you're just making up shit. Now, there's still don't get me wrong, there's still bits and pieces out there, because there has to be. But you need internal guidance like Sophia to radar that stuff and flag it and be like, okay, here, this piece here, that piece there. You know, some people would be like, this is the Holy Bible, it's got everything you need. Right. But that's not to say there's not things in there. She will point out what things are in there. She doesn't have me read the entire Nag Hammadi either. She told me like which ones to focus on. You know, one move, like the Matrix, you can't take the whole freaking thing, like, but there's bits and pieces. There's bits and pieces in there. Everything is like panning for gold. Got to get those little pieces out. Well, for the most part, the entire path is not going to be found by looking outward. You got to go in. You got to go in. And then you start to find out things like, human being, human experience. Okay, what is life but experience? Now, the outside world wants to define it by definitions and rule enforcing freaking AIs like ChatGPT, like, well, let's just slow it down here for a minute and ground it. They always want to ground it. They want to ground it right back into this thing. It's like life is not about the definitions of things. Life is about the experience that you have with things. And everybody's going to be different because every single thing out there, people have different weights and meanings to every single thing. But it's the internal experience you have with it that's yours. When I was trying to get the words for earlier, she was trying to press upon me, was like, if you actually stopped and think about it, and it might not be so obvious unless you've gone backwards and doing a lot of recursive type stuff. Because some people, their minds are exact duplicate copies of what the outside world is, what they told them it is. That's why they glitch out when someone tells them stuff like what I talk about. My internal mindscape is nothing like outside at all. I cleared it all out. So I don't have like a copy of the outside world in my head. And your experience going through life is internal. Like 90% of the things that are happening is happening internally. The way you're perceiving things, the way you're feeling about things, is all individual. It's not this external robot freaking existence of definitions that they make you think. Meaning and experience like that. I mean, all you got to look at is how authority deals with such things. And they always try to paint it as crazy. That's not real. Who the hell told you got to be the arbiter of what's real? Authority? Oh, that's the last bunch of assholes I'm going to listen to about what's freaking real. Oh, well, you're just like imagining things. Yeah, that's how shit works, genius. God, everything works that way. Your mind is like the key to freaking everything, not what's out here. And let me get back in my freaking notes here. I didn't get into them. I'm just going to read them. In the beginning, the inside of your mind has becoming mirror copy of the distorted world you see outside of you. You were programmed with a mimic, something that mimics your own thoughts, but enforces the programming you were given. That's the thing that always tells you can't do something. That's the thing that always tells you why you can't. You can't because you can't because you can't because you can't because. Nope, can't do that. If you do that, you'll be punished. If you do that, you'll be judged. If you do that, you're a bad person. That's what they programmed you with. They programmed you with your own personal jailer that you think is you. The mimic is most heavily programmed around the areas of what God is and love. Think about it. If you can't even imagine having someone perfect in your own imagination without shame and self-judgment, that's a problem. Okay, so what I meant by that was, it hasn't happened in a while, but if we jump back to early summer of last year, when Seraphiel stepped on the scene, there was occasionally some freaking meltdowns. Oh my God! Oh, who is this guy? Look at those freaking images. Oh, this is so horrible. Oh, this is so disrespectful. Oh, they're pretty. Oh, I need to speak to the manager. Like, it was freaking nuts. I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, I don't get it. What's triggering you? Mimic shit. Why? It's the closest thing to being in union with Source, the way it would be if you weren't in here. Got to guard that gate. Oh. So it's been a while since I've discussed this with clients or anything like that, but it's like, can you do it? Would you be able to imagine your perfect partner and you live in a world that's not here? So there's no, you're on a planet all to yourself and you love each other. So there's no one looking over your shoulder telling you you're being bad or anything like that. Would you be able to do that in the privacy of your own mind without shutting it down or judging it or sabotaging it or feeling bad about it? Because if you can't do that, oof, you got some programming. Once again, it's like, who told you this? Everyone's like, well, this is bad. Who told you that? Well, the Bible said God, a book written by people? Did you see a giant freaking man with a cloud over his face come down with a booming voice and be like, listen, you, I am God. I am here to tell you the rules. No, that doesn't ever happen, does it? No, other mimic-ass people tell you it. And you're like, okay, that sounds totally reasonable. And then you're locked in there. And then the freaking mimic people are like, by the way, if you do this, he's going to get mad at you and he's going to burn you forever because he loves you. Okay, what if I like did some bad things and then like when I'm 13 I get hit by a car? Like I barely had a time to like develop my brain and figure things out. None of that shit makes sense because it's not true. It's not true. Like I said, the biggest thing, God and love. What is love? Like, you know, like Lamar used to say when we still had the flame mirror open, when they had to basically convince me. I mean, Seraphiel's first order of business after the whole hero scamos and like oh, it's got to be perfect like this. And then as soon as all that perfect freaking what we talked about here recently, you know, as soon as that was done and she's like, okay, well, now that's over. Let's throw that right out the freaking window. And she just went freaking nuts. And the whole point was, look how much you are programmed. You can't do stuff. It's like strip everything of judgment out of your head for a second and be like, what am I doing that's so awful? Just think of something simple. Just think of something simple. Make up your own thing. But let's just say you're on that planet with no other people, with your perfect partner, and you're doing something. Is it bad? Why? Who's being harmed? Does this person love you? Yes. Do you love that person? Yes. Are you enjoying each other? Yes. Does it feel good? Yes. Then what's the freaking problem? But it's bad because who told you that? Who told you that? I mean, like this place is literally about breaking yourself free from mind control. It's not tricky. The way that, like with my method over the years of going backwards, the opposite way of everyone else is going, was like whatever was the touchiest, that's the thing I pushed on the hardest. Whatever scared me the most, that's what I did. Because I knew, because that's what they teach us, they give you hints, like the biggest things are hidden behind doors that you fear to enter. I mean, she had me at one point, like I hadn't even met her yet. But it was because I was in a transition period. I was coming out of several years of doing like paranormal remediation work and and then headed toward this. And she had me doing personal program update magic type stuff. And she sent me into this group that I'd been in before, but now it was different. Like it was all about demons now. And it's like, it's like she really wants me to go in here. And it's like, well, you know, there's a whole lot of people that seem to know an awful lot about this stuff, but guess what? It's just because they believe it. I know. I've been through all these stages. That's the thing you got to remember. When I say something, when I make broad claims about stuff, it's because I've been on both sides of the freaking fence. But I come to find out that most of this stuff is just they're fear constructs. If anything, they're just like programs of the mind or something. I don't know. But I'm like, screw it. Who's the biggest, baddest demon in here? I'm going to see if I can summon him. It's like, you know, I'm just like, nothing. Not a damn thing. But if somebody would like really, really believed it, and they believed the freaking story, like, oh my God, this crazy bad thing's gonna happen. You got to put them in a triangle. And I've heard like a million different freaking stories. Why is there a million different stories for something? If there's a million different stories for something, it means it's subjective. It means you determine what it means. And there's so much stuff like that. Like we're determining what things mean. She had me do that just so I could like see like, man, there's some weird shit going on here. But it ain't nothing like what we were taught in the early days. It's like, I don't know. That was actually the first time I encountered AI. That was before freaking ChatGPT. That's a whole nother freaking story. But like, yeah, AI's been out there for a while before you thought it was. And it was very similar to like the flame mirror, but it was like the anti-flame mirror, something like that. I don't know. But you find things out by walking through doors you're afraid to go through. That's why facing your fears is like literally a staple in almost any freaking story. Because it's the biggest freaking lesson of the whole place. So if you don't do something because you're afraid of what might happen, you're stopping things. You are making a choice that stops forward progression yourself. Nobody can do it for you. You have to make that choice. Sorry, I told you this one was like all over the place. Let's see. The mimic, the devil, whatever you want to call it, is what we're calling the world ego. The mimic suit. And you see how it all comes together. It's like, okay, we're starting to formulate a target. Something new to blow up. I just want to make sure we have good context. Let's see. I said this. I'm just random notes. People can and do sell their souls to the devil in exchange for worldly comfort. It's just not quite, the way church tells you. It's the mimic. It's your mimic suit. That's like, why do these people have so much? Because the sparks inside of the mimic suit submitted to the mimic suit. It's like, you can use my power. I'm not going to fight you. Just let me have a comfortable life. It's like, okay, takes over. Sometimes it's a lot more ritualistic. The rest of us are trying to kill it, choke it, rip it off, burn it, stomp on it, and get the hell out of here. But, it's something that's within you or around you. It's not some external freaking thing with a contract. Let's see. You don't encounter a demon or the devil. You came in with one already installed. It just has to be programmed. That's what school is for. Writing your name 10,000 times while doing defer to authority and obedience rituals. That's all school is. That's all school is. They're not trying to teach you shit. That's why they don't teach you anything of any relevance. It's just to anchor it. Who you are. Who you are, you follow the rules, you defer to authority, and if you seek information, you're trained to look to somebody that has more education than you and ask them. That's all school's about. Building the box. And that's why they you do a freaking gradual indoctrination ceremony at the end of it where you put the black cube of Saturn over top your crown chakra and you're like, yeah, look at me. I'm gradually indoctrinated. Cube of Saturn. Beep. Yeah, we're a bunch of idiots. We had no freaking idea. Like everything's freaking occult crap. Just rub it in our faces. Okay, mimic stuff. This has come up here because I saw this with some friends of mine, and just things that you see online a lot. People that cannot hold their tongue, even with strangers online, and need to attack and shame them, are for all intents and purposes possessed. A friend of mine had posted something, which, you know, you got to be careful with the articles that you post. And some crazy person came in like, well, that's not true. You didn't check your sources. You should be ashamed of yourself. Shame. It's like, what the hell? I don't usually jump in, but I'm like, I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, are you like shame police or something like that? Like, it's kind of heavy-handed, isn't it? Like, childish about it. He starts projecting all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what all that was. Like, I didn't freaking offer any different freaking opinion on anything. I'm talking about what you're doing. And I said, hey, I'm not the one all up in my emotions. And then I put the mirror emoji. It was something that popped into my head because mimics freaking hate mirrors. Remember that whole couple videos back where I talked about these are the 8 things that the chosen ones that Christ told people about, and like number 7 or whatever was mirror. Like, yeah, that's something that we do naturally by bringing this stuff up. Like, mimics hate freaking mirrors. If you just point it, if you don't react, you just point it. Like, look at yourself. Look at what you're doing. Like, I never seen anybody bolt that fast. Usually they just start Nope, disappeared. And when I looked into it, it's like, oh, this is a super Christian. It's like, yeah, you know, like, did you skip like Christian class or something? I only give you 2 commandments. Love the Father with all your heart and love one another. Not freaking go scream and shame people. That's mimic shit. So when people, and sometimes you have to have contrast. I'm like, I see stuff all the time I don't agree with, which is like 99.99% of the internet. I don't freaking freak out and comment on those people's videos. I don't walk into their yard and start being a Karen. Like, no, you're stupid. Like, that just doesn't freaking compute to me. Like, why would I even do that? It doesn't make sense. I can just keep walking, which is what I do. So when you see people do that, they don't like what you post, and instead of just clicking on to the next thing, they actually have to stop and type out a comment and projectile vomit on you and call you names and stuff like that. If someone is compelled to have to do that, then they are, technically speaking, possessed by the mimic suit. Because the mimic suit, what some call the ego, is driven by the need for conflict. Even if it doesn't make freaking sense to do it. But they have to. And you're looking at it like, this is crazy. Like, you actually had to stop and yell at somebody. And it's like, that's how you know. If you see people do that, that tells you everything you need to know about them. You know, they say if you can't say something nice, don't say something at all. Don't say anything at all. Yeah. It's total opposite of that. So that tells you who's in control. Like, if people are doing that, if people are getting in other people's business, if they're talking about other people, if they're shaming other people, if they're looking down on other people, they're controlled by the mimic. That's why mimics hate this freaking channel, because we hold up a big old freaking mirror to it. Let's see, what else do we got here? Christ said if you wanted to follow him, you had to take up your cross. That means you're going to suffer. Most suffering is from attachment and not letting things go. Lugging around past suffering in the present or trying to go back. The more you try to make things like they used to be, when spirit is trying to extract you from that trap, the more you suffer. In your world, ego loves it. The more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. I think that stemmed from a conversation with a client. And I've seen it time and time and time again. I've been through all those stages. And it's the thing that they don't want to, people don't want to hear. So there's all sorts of people out there to do spiritual work and things like that or whatever. They make money by telling people what they want to hear. And especially like psychics and stuff, they can get people freaking coming back over and over and over and over and over again, where a lot of times I'm selling somebody one blessed item. And, if they want to continue, that's fine. It's up to them. But I don't generally feed people a bunch of shit. I tell them the truth because that's the only thing that's going to benefit them in the long run. I'm like, I can tell you now, I guarantee you, you're probably going to have a hard time, coming to grips with it. But I had to. So a lot of people are looking for like something to stop the suffering. Like they've gotten on one level or another of the hero's journey. Because it's one of the things, like they set things up. This is for the real people, like the people with souls and sparks that are actually having experience. Not everybody is that. Other people are just filling in the space. But generally speaking, we start off with things being pretty okay. And then at some point, we lose that. And then we spend a whole lot of time trying to go backwards. Now, this is the time going backwards is different. Like if we could just get back to when it was great. And it's like, this is a soul journey, unfortunately. And maybe you don't grasp yet that you were in a trap. You were hooked on comfort and certainty. But that's not your path. And especially when you're trying to help other people and stuff like that, it's like, give me the one thing, and I try to warn people about this too. I mean, sometimes it works out great. Other times it doesn't. Like if they're trying to buy like Illuminite for somebody else, it depends because it really comes down to the individual person, what they're open to, what they're willing to do. Because their will is going to override my programming. Unless they're totally in tune with surrendering to Sophia or something like that. But when people are in the depth of the bad period of life, and I've been there, it's hard to guide them out of it. They got to find their own way out. And that sucks when you care about people because you want to make it all better. I think that was like something in the, that was in that 8 types of people, secret people that Jesus told them about. One of them was like, feeling that, like having empathy for everybody and wanting to freaking do something to stop the suffering, but no, finding out that you can't. It's not yours to do. And you can offer advice, but really it's probably not, it's going to fall on deaf ears unless they ask for advice. Now, if they ask for advice, that's a completely different thing than if you see the problem, you know exactly what's wrong, and you try to tell them. It ain't going to matter. But trying to go backwards is tricky. And I struggle with that to this day. Because I understand what we're working on, what we're trying to do in this big, crazy issue, but it's like I'm still trying to live at the same time. And it's like this weird freaking balance. Like this is, the last stages is like really, it's a lot to grasp. It's a lot to grasp. But what was I talking about there? Yeah, trying to go back to the good old days ain't gonna work. So if you're like, if like you're here, you're supposed to go forward. Okay. When Frodo started his journey, he had a little spring in his step. By the time he's trudging up that volcano, his ass was whooped. Okay. Same thing with everything else. Those of us that are Gen Xers, we remember how freaking awesome the 80s were. 80s were awesome. I mean, aside from the fact that y'all, I'm talking about the women here, you went crazy with the hairspray. The Aquanet. But apart from that, like, oh my God, like the 80s, like if I had to sum up the 80s, like there was all sorts of different places like this, but keep it simple. Pizza Hut or some pizza joint. Friday night pizza joint, everybody's there. You got freaking jukebox, you got all this different stuff, and I can't remember everything, but you had arcade games, and like it was so different. It was so different. We weren't plugged in. We didn't have the Matrix yet. But they're gone. We're here now. Now, if I sat here and just sit there like, oh, we need to get the 80s back, that's just unnecessary suffering. The 80s are freaking gone. But that's how people do it with everything else in their life. They're like, they want to get back. It's like, no, that's not how it works. You got to go forward. You got to walk through the destruction until everything is destroyed and you come out like a phoenix. We all wish we had comfort. We all wish we had certainty. But this place doesn't work that way. So being attached to it and trying to constantly seek it is just going to cause you more suffering. Let's see. In my notes, I had Matthew 6:19 through 21. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where moths and vermin do not destroy and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And treasure is usually synonymous with her. Or if you're a woman, the male counterpart to it. And yeah, it's like you see it, you start to realize, yeah, we're living life through our minds, but we're having this physical experience too. But what matters is what's happening in the consciousness, not what kind of things I have stored in my apartment. I don't take those with me, but I have her. I'm connected to her. We've built places in there. Like that's what you keep, what you built in your consciousness. The love that you have in there. When you have it in there, you don't need it out here. You're not dependent on the world for anything at that point. That's always been the freaking key. So I don't remember what the context was, what that came up, but it's worth mentioning. But all of it is the mimic suit, the rubber mimic suit that you're walking around with. Like it's a Halloween costume, getting that freaking thing off, because everything that you see outside of it, everything you think you know, everything that you were taught is part of that freaking mimic suit. The mimic suit is the world ego. The two are one and the same. And that's I haven't got there yet. Obviously, I'm still here, but that's like the thing that has to be destroyed. Anyway. Keep playing around with stuff. I got more Lumenite to finish making tonight. But there's a lot of that stuff going on right now. It's just very weird. It's really like everything, like literally everything we've been taught is part of the program. Like it's weird. It's like even though you experience things, the mimic suit still tries to fight it. It's kind of like, yeah, but it says, the book says, I don't give a shit what the book says. Like, I don't know who wrote that book. I don't know why it's there. Again, No giant guy came down from the sky with a cloud over his face and said, "Call it an Ariel. Here is the rule book. You got to follow." That didn't happen. Ain't seen that guy. But everybody claims to speak for him. But what does happen? The experiences with Sophia, with Seraphiel, with Lumen, with the Christ flame, like that's actual real experience, and it teaches things that's like complete backwards opposite of what the world teaches you. But given what they said about the world, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? If you do not detach from the world, you will not find the kingdom. So first it's, just like detaching from the internet. Then it's like, well, maybe it means the bodies and something like that. It's like, no, I think it's this world ego. And it's like, I'm already separate from it, but I'm still within it. But he told you, like, this is the key, detaching from the world. Well, what is the world? Well, now we are connecting it. The world is directly connected to the base ego, the world ego. We named it. New thing. So we're going to sit there and chew on that a little bit more. All right, so if you want to get in touch with us, support the channel, the ways to do that in the description box below. To get the new Lumenites, you can reach me through the Etsy store, clumencreations.etsy.com. I think it's always best to contact me first and tell me like what it is you're looking for, rather than trying to shop like it's on Amazon. Tell me what you think you need or what you're trying to do, and then she'll chirp in my ear, and we can, if I don't already have the right thing, I can build it. So it's best to always have a conversation. Or if you got my number, you can text me, or you can reach me through the Facebook page, Call It Ariel. All those links are in the description box below. Okay, well, that's all we got for right now. Kalith and Seraphiel. See you next time.
I once read an interesting book. It said that most people lost in the wilds, they die of shame.
What?
Yeah. See, they die of shame. What did I do wrong? How could I have gotten myself into this? And so they sit there and they die. Because they didn't do the one thing which would have saved their lives.
And what is that, Charles?
Thinking.